Thanks for staying with us. You are watching WION World is One and this is Speed News. Let's start with all top stories making headlines today. US President Donald Trump has hit out at Iran and accused it of doing a poor job of allowing oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, warning that restrictions on the key waterway could undermine a fragile ceasefire. Posting on Truth Social, Trump also warned Iran against imposing a toll for ships passing through the crucial waterway, saying there were reports that tankers were being charged fees. He cautioned that if such measures were in place, they should be stopped immediately. In yet another post, he also claimed that very quickly oil start flowing with or without the help of Iran. Israel and Lebanon are likely to hold ceasefire talks in Washington next week. Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu has confirmed that he has instructed his ministers to seek direct talks with Lebanon, pushing for Hezbollah's disarmament, but rejected the possibility of a truce before talks. He said that IDF will continue striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon until security is fully restored in its northern regions. However, Lebanese government has stated that Beirut will not enter negotiations with Israel without a ceasefire in place, insisting that an immediate truce is a prerequisite for any diplomatic talks. Hezbollah leader Ali Fayyad said that the group rejects direct negotiations with Israel, insisting that Lebanon must first secure a ceasefire before any further steps are taken. Fayyad added that Lebanon's position should prioritize an Israeli withdrawal from Lebanese territory, as well as the return of displaced residents to their homes. The statement comes as IDF launched heavier strikes on Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah on Wednesday, killing hundreds of people. Israeli military has warned residents of Beirut's southern suburbs, long considered a Hezbollah stronghold, of imminent strikes, urging them to evacuate. In a post on X, IDF spokesperson Aviache said Israel is continuing to target Hezbollah military infrastructure across the area and stressed that it is not seeking to harm civilians, adding that residents must leave immediately. Iran's new leader Mojtaba Khomeini said in a written message that the Islamic Republic does not seek war with the United States or Israel, but will continue to defend what it calls its national rights under any circumstances. According to Iranian media reports, Khomeini also urged citizens of Iran that they must not imagine that taking to the streets is no longer necessary because of announcement of the ceasefire, and that their voices are undoubtedly influential in the outcome of the negotiations. A Snapchat video filmed by a young girl in Beirut has gone viral online, capturing scenes of chaos and panic as strikes hit the city. The footage shows civilians reacting in fear as explosions are heard in the background, with residents rushing to find safety amid the ongoing violence. The video has drawn widespread attention on social media, highlighting the impact of the escalating conflict on civilians in the Lebanese capital. Israel has denounced Pakistan, a key mediator in truce efforts, after Pakistan's defense minister described Israel as a curse for humanity and a cancerous state. In a post on X, Khwaja Asif claimed that while peace talks were taking place in Islamabad, a genocide was being carried out in Lebanon. He said innocent civilians were being killed by Israel, adding that after Gaza and Iran, Lebanon was now witnessing continued bloodshed. The remarks have sparked diplomatic backlash from Israel, which accused Islamabad of undermining mediation efforts at a sensitive time. Ukraine and Russia have agreed to a temporary ceasefire for the Orthodox Easter holidays, announcing a rare 32-hour pause in fighting. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had earlier proposed a holiday truce through the United States. Later, Kremlin issued a statement declaring a ceasefire from 11th April to 12th in connection with Orthodox Easter, though it made no mention of Kiev's initial proposal. President Volodymyr Zelensky visited the Hungarian minority in western Ukraine on Thursday, 3 days before a general election in Hungary, the most Russia-friendly country in the European Union. The election has become a major battle for Hungary's veteran Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, who has regularly traded barbs with Zelensky and has blocked European Union funds for Ukraine and Kiev's application to join the 27-nation bloc. Ukraine has a small Hungarian minority, most of whom live in the western Zakarpattia region and hold dual citizenship.
We all know.
US First Lady Melania Trump has denied any connections to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, dismissing claims suggesting any association with him. The statement comes amid renewed public attention and speculation surrounding individuals previously linked to Epstein. Melania Trump's office rejected the allegations, stressing there is no bias for claims or any relationship. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will visit New Delhi next month following a productive meeting with Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. Discussions focused on bilateral relations including trade, critical minerals, defense and the Quad. Misri also held separate meetings with other US officials on security, defense and economic cooperation. Following his meeting, US Ambassador to India Sergio Gore also took to X, confirming Rubio's visit, saying Secretary Rubio looks forward to visiting India next month. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel stated that he would not resign under US pressure and called for open dialogue. During an interview, he said that US government has implemented that hostility or hostile policy against Cuba that has no moral to demand anything from Cuba. He also added that Cuba is a free sovereign state. They have self-determination and independence, and they are not subjected to the designs of United States. Venezuela has opened up its mining sector to private and foreign investors as part of a broader effort to revive its struggling resource-driven economy beyond oil. Well, the move comes after lawmakers approved a new mining law aimed at attracting investment into gold, diamonds and other strategic minerals. The legislation allows both domestic and foreign companies to participate in mining projects, extends concession periods and introduces arbitration mechanisms to protect investors. The reform is part of a wider economic opening that includes similar changes in the oil sector as Venezuela seeks to boost production, draw in foreign capital and stabilize its economy after years of decline and sanctions. Japan will release an additional 20 days worth of oil for emergency reserves. Starting early May, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi announced. Well, the move comes as Japan, which relies on West Asia for 95% of its oil, seeks to ease supply pressures amid ongoing regional tensions. With earlier releases included, Japan will make available of about 50 days of consumption while still maintaining a substantial stock of around 230 days in reserves. Ocean temperatures reached near record highs for March this year, according to the Copernicus Climate Change Service on Friday, pointing to a possible shift towards El Nino conditions that could further intensify heat extremes on an already warming planet. Gopinath said of average sea surface temperature stood at 20.97 degrees Celsius in March, making it the second highest on record for the month and the warmest since the year 2024, when the last El Nino event contributed to global temperature records. Asian stocks edged higher, but gains remained limited as investors questioned the durability of the US-Iran ceasefire. Ongoing Israeli strikes on Lebanon, led by Benjamin Netanyahu, kept markets on edge. Japan's Nikkei and South Korea's Kospi posted gains, lifting regional indices, but sentiment stayed fragile amid geopolitical uncertainty. Concerns over the Strait of Hormuz and rising oil prices continue to weigh on confidence, with investors worried that renewed tensions could disrupt markets and derail the recent recovery. Oil prices rose after attacks on Saudi energy facilities heightened supply concerns. Brent and US crude both gained as markets reacted to fresh disruptions and ongoing risks in the Gulf. Strikes have cut Saudi output and damaged key infrastructure, adding to fears of a broader supply shock. At the same time, the Strait of Hormuz remains largely restricted, limiting global oil flows. Despite a fragile US-Iran ceasefire, continued conflict and uncertainty over tanker movements are keeping markets volatile, with analysts warning prices could climb further if disruptions persist. India's aggressive move to support the rupee is raising concerns among global investors, with markets unsettled by the lack of clarity from the Reserve Bank of India. The central bank reportedly forced local banks to unwind bearish currency bets as the rupee hit fresh lows amid global tensions, catching investors off guard. Analysts warn that while the move aims to stabilize the currency, it risks denting investor confidence and could push away foreign capital at a time when India has been actively courting global investments. OpenAI has paused its main data center project in the United Kingdom, citing an unfavorable regulatory environment and high energy costs. The project, part of the Stargate UK initiative, was launched in partnership with NVIDIA and Nscale to boost the country's AI infrastructure. The company said it will proceed with the project once conditions support long-term investment and sustainable operations. The move is seen as a setback to the United Kingdom government's ambitions to position the country as a global hub for artificial intelligence. Florida Attorney General James Whitmire has launched an investigation into OpenAI and its chatbot ChatGPT. Whitmire said concerns include whether OpenAI's data and AI technology could fall into the hands of foreign adversaries, including China. He also claimed ChatGPT has been linked to criminal misuse, including cases involving self-harm and other illegal activities. The state is expected to issue subpoenas as part of the probe, even as OpenAI moves towards a potential IPO. India's central bank is planning to introduce delays in high-value digital transactions and extra checks for payments made by senior citizens as part of broader measures to curb a surge in online fraud. The Reserve Bank of India has proposed a 1-hour lag for transfers above 10,000 rupees on fast payment systems like UPI to allow users time to cancel suspected transactions. The central bank is also considering extra checks for senior citizens, including approval from a trusted person for payments above 50,000 rupees. The proposal comes as digital payment fraud cases have surged sharply in recent years, driven by sophisticated scams and social engineering attacks. The last surviving member of India's first Test match winning team, CD Gopinath, has died at the age of 96. The Tamil Nadu Cricket Association announced on Thursday that Gopinath had died in Chennai. He was the second oldest living Test cricketer worldwide after Australia's Neil Harvey. Born in 1930, Gopinath played 8 Tests for India. He made his debut in 1951. Gopinath was a member of the playing 11 while India defeated England in February 1952 for the nation's first ever victory in Test cricket. Fittingly for Gopinath, it came at his home ground in Chennai. He made 35 in his only innings in that match. Following Gopinath's death, 95-year-old Chandrakant Patankar is now India's oldest living Test cricketer.